Well, that was a good old summertime jingle that came around back in the 60s, and we use it as our welcome to the theme song for the Optimize Your Life radio show. And we operate 7 days a week here on Blog Talk Radio. The name of the show is Optimize Your Life. The sponsor is a foundation, a 501c3 nonprofit called the Hope Collection. My name is Ron Claydon. I'm your host with Rick Reese today. I'm the president of the Hope Collection, the founder and the running of the Optimize Your Life radio show, which we've actually partnered with a sister organization called the Golden Rule Society. I've got to take a break a second and take a call that's coming in. Please stay with us. Good afternoon, Rick. I know you got Rick. Please call Rick. Let him know he hung up. Call Rick, please, quick. Hi, I'm back. I had to take a call that I've been waiting for a gentleman who, wait a minute, Linda, never mind. Rick Reese has joined us. Well, I'll tell you what, we're in for an exciting day today as we bring you the Hope Collection, the Golden Rule Society, the organizations that are working to make this a better world. Today, we call this day Travel Tuesday, and on our website and on the program, we have it. It's a wellness for your life, a guide to health and wealth. And so when you think of travel, I guarantee every single person you just say the word to. I'll do a little experiment today. Count 10 people out. Just talk to 10 people, say hi, and just say the word travel. Look what happens to their face. I guarantee you, almost 99.9% of them, you're going to see a smile. And then they're going to say to you, why did you say travel? And you can just say, I want to see a smile on your face. You see, travel is a gift from God. It's a vision. It's the idea of seeing something that isn't, that you can make it happen. And what we're all about on Tuesday is that process, the tool to make it happen. And we're so excited that you're joining us today, realizing that we have this opportunity to set people's hearts afire and free people. You know, we're the freedom wagon today in today's world, or airplane or ship or exec off a place to go to. I want to introduce my partner, both partner in crime, partner in life, partner in fun, and partner in eating well. Rick Reese, are you here online here this morning?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Clear. I got a call from a gentleman we need to see real soon, Chuck Vollmer from Jobonomics, a program that has incredible talk about tools, has a way to help improve the lives of people in a community. And we're going to be doing that here as time goes by. It's another vision that I'm just talking about the term, the idea of vision and how it puts a light in your heart. See, I believe if more people had the vision or were willing not to fight the idea that God really wants them to have a vision, that he would help them achieve. And in that vision, they can lift people up because they're going to get in a position where you become a servant. You serve other people to get what you want. And I guarantee you the people that aren't given. That's what they need to learn to do. It's a lesson that we have been taught, and we get to share. I'm being just very blunt and saying, do boom, boom, boom. I understand. We're talking about people and people's hearts and their minds. They have circumstances. They have health issues. All those things in place can still make with a vision, dreams come true. And I guarantee you, and our goal is to put a smile on your face, put a smile on your heart, and a skip in your step. Would you say that's kind of the formula, Rick, we follow?
Yeah, that's what I do. That's my life. That's my life right there. You just described my life, and coming onto the show as you was talking, I was thinking about the types of travel. What are the types of travel? And I did a little search, and it brought up the different types of travel. One of them was birth tourism. Have you ever heard of birth tourism? It's also called maternity tourism. Who knew? And so this is when, a person travels to another country for the purposes of giving birth. And so that their child can be born, at least say they were born in that country. Did you ever heard of that?
No. But
birth
I can also
tourism.
see the reverse of that happening big time. The world is coming to have birth here.
Well, I'm just saying, though, depends on where you are. You may not want to be from the same place. And so, like, I was born in Munich, Germany. My dad was U.S. military. And so, of course, on my birth certificate and everything, Munich, Germany. But people are saying, okay, I want my child, born in this particular country. And then, right before, they go there. They make their plans. What country? And so I was looking at the different types, and that's one that came up. But adventure travel, train, bicycle, airplane, cruise ships, bus, monorail, college tour, motorcycle, solo travel, tram, all these things we have access to. Agritourism, backpacking, boat sharing, creative trip, ferry, holidays, luxury travel, air travel, exploration travel, sea travel, family travel. Let's see, what is this MICE tourism? What could MICE tourism be? MICE tourism, it stands for meetings, incentives, conferences, exhibitions, and areas of corporate travel. MICE tourism. Wow. Now,
that's huge.
That's huge. That's globally. And in our business, we override all of it. We get paid for all of it. We can set up all of it. Isn't that amazing? Between the travel agency, between the membership that will set up any trip. Any of these trips can be set up by the concierge in the membership. If you send them a note saying, hey, MICE Tourism, I've got a meeting, a huge meeting in Istanbul, Turkey, and I need you to set it up. We're expecting 100 people flying in. They will actually set that up for you. I need to find a good venue, that can handle these people, and we'll need transport from the airport to whatever hotel. They will plan and set that entire trip up. These folks who are arriving at this other city, so they need information on the trains, and they'll do all the research for you. And so between the membership, between the travel agency, and of course the Vortex, you may say, okay, we're going to give out the Vortex link, to these 400 people, and they can book their airfare through this Vortex link. Or you may say, like you did, Ron, I'm going to call up the airline directly. I'm going to call their group travel department and say, hey, I need to get so many people. Tell that story about what you did for the missions trip and how you worked with the group department.
Well, it came along as this is something that has developed that as a gift that God has given me, and doors open. I found out there were churches that were sending groups from their church like go to Guatemala or Cuba. And they would send a group of people, volunteers. They weren't professional. They weren't missionaries. They were just people that went from a church. And once it happened with my church. But this one group was going to go to Cuba. Now, Cuba is a communist country, folks. Everything there is illegal. They have one little area, they have tourism, but it's very limited the number of people that can get there. Now, if you're Canadian, it's easier. If you're American, no, you can't go. So this was a church group going to go to the mission to visit people in a village, and they had an orphanage. So I found out, and the different details of how many and when they wanted to go. Well, they had to fly into Miami to get to Cuba, so they flew down the day before, and they needed to get all arranged and organized. So the next morning, they had a flight that went from Miami to Cuba. And then, of course, coming back, they got back, and they couldn't just come back from Cuba. They had to come back to Miami and then come back from Miami to Buffalo. So all those arrangements, housing, all the arrangements, passports, all the things to get there so they could be there safe and come back safe. Well, I learned in working with a particular airline, I found out they had special programs. Now, this group was going to go, Rick, this group was going to see an orphanage. And so they were going there to take, clothing and supplies and things to help these people that were in the middle of Cuba. We're not talking about in the main city. This is back in the wilderness. So, anyways, working with Delta Airlines, who happens to be who I've worked with a lot, and they have a program, and this group of missionary people from the church they want to take stuff down. Well, I talked to the Tops grocery manager. We have Tops grocery stores in Buffalo, and I asked him. I said, "Well, we've got a group of people going down, and they want to feed kids in this orphanage." Well, I said, "Ron, how much do you want?" So I talked with him, and he donated a skid, 144 cases of 1 pound jars, 144 cases, jars of peanut butter that would feed kids for more than a month. And he donated it. Now, I don't know how much it would cost. I think peanut butter today is about $2 a bottle, maybe more. But on top of that, how do you get it from Buffalo, New York to Cuba? Well, we have arrangements and working with this wonderful company, Delta, that has a missionary program, nonprofit program, and they allowed our group, each individual, they call it a baggage waiver. So they divided up between the 13 people that were going. Enough, they'd say, okay, this person can assign this much product. They left it on skid. But anyways, they put it on the plane, and they delivered it for free. Rick, it would have cost $1,800 to ship it. They shipped it for free. They got the food for free, and they delivered it for free. Now, let me also tell you what this group did. They were brave. They carried in cases of Bibles, Spanish Bibles, little New Testaments, in Spanish. Because remember, Cuba is a Spanish-speaking country. Wouldn't do any good to send them down books in English. So I went to Gideon, like you, and I was able to get my hands on cases of New Testament Bibles. What's key about this story and this whole thing, about the whole event, the director of the orphanage for the children, when she opened up the boxes and had a Bible in her hands, it was the first time in 25 years that she had a Bible in her hands. She cried. I'm telling you this story, folks. Believe it or not, we can make things happen. Do I have a peanut butter? No. Do I sell it? No, I'm not in the store. Can I get it? Well, yeah, I did. Well, how about getting it there? Can I get it to Cuba and get it delivered from Cuba when it lands on the plane and get it to the people? No, but guess what? God can. And so trusting in him and the process and my training that I've been trained for, I've been able to use my travel agency to make a dent in this world. And then another group, we did a similar thing, and they had shoes that were made for children that expand 5 shoe sizes. So rather than having, they took 13 cases. I think there was 4 dozen shoes in each case that this group took down. And so we had several hundred kids that were walking, instead of walking bare feet in the forest, and you got spiders and snakes and venomous, and you got poisonous plants. Instead of them being exposed to their feet growing up, because these shoes we expand, it's not like a shoe that they wear today and 6 months later throw away. These expanded. They were made out of good rubber and leather, high quality leather. And they took 13 cases down with them to that group, to Guatemala.
Wow.
See, we can make a difference in what we do, and I am proud to share that story. By the way, I get phone calls all the time, and I talk to people, and I help them. This is something that I do. It's not my business. It's what I do of my business and how I live. It's part of my personal testimony to serve. And so I help anybody that wants, any church that wants to help, I'll help them with that. So,
wow.
So that's, Rick, you know what? That happened because you shared a dream with me and Linda. You said, hey, you guys ever like to travel? But you ever thought of going on a cruise? What happened, Rick? You were looking for us.
Yeah, it's I've shared it with a lot of people, though. And the way you guys just took to it and created something, that's different, because the biggest difference is you had a vision, and this was a tool to help you accomplish your vision. I mean, who would have thought to say, okay, I've got a travel business, let me help missionaries or people who are going on missions trips, let me help them using the tool that I have, get to wherever they're going. And I remember the story you was telling me when the group had some problems at the airlines. It was like 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah. Well, when you fly today,
and you had to get out of bed.
No, I was there. I didn't have to get out of bed.
There.
I was
man.
there.
Oh, look at this. You were there.
I met the team flying to Guatemala. I met them at the airport at 3:00 in the morning. And it's a good thing I did, because it turned out 3 people, when they turned in the information to make their reservations for their flights, they told us what their names were and everything. The problem is how they spelled their name and how it was in the passport. This is a tip for everybody in the travel world who's going to travel. Your name has to spell exactly how you give it to the airlines. If it isn't identical to your passport, you ain't flying. Do you hear me? You're not flying. Now, the only reason we overcame that problem at 3:00 in the morning is because of my relationships that I had developed with Delta Airlines. I got a hold of a gal at Washington, D.C. at 3:00 in the morning who superseded, and we were able to get 3 people on board. Now, they had ID and they had the passports, all that stuff. But the way we were able to, I will give you the secret. The secret was we put them and boarded them as transfer last minute. Then we know how in last minute they'll say they got to call somebody and say, we got a full seat. You want to go with us? Well, you go today. Well, so last minute transfers, they can get people on a plane. Well, we did that for 3 people on this one flight because they weren't going. They had paid for their flight. Oh, the one gal, the minister, the pastor, had adopted her. And she'd given her new name, because she took out her adopted parents' name, but on her passport it had her original name that she was born with. Well, when you make a reservation, it's got to match to the point, to the dot. Junior, senior, every spelling. I learned that lesson the hard way because you know what? Those people were feared. It almost brought a doom to their mission they were on. And instead, it turned out to be a victory. And I learned, and I can be on this call today as we're talking about Travel Tuesday, that when you're booking somebody, I always require someone to give me a copy. I want a hard copy of their passport, or their license, whatever. I've got to have. So when I install them and make their bookings and anything, I have it right to begin with. Because I don't want to go through what we went through at 3:00 in the morning in the middle of a snowstorm.
But you were there, and that was your job, so to speak. You created a way that you could actually make money in the travel industry, as a travel advisor. and specialize.
On that particular trip, I don't make any money. On that particular trip, I do not make any money. I'm not looking to. What I do is I perform the service. You know what? When I 1976, when I had I had incredible action happen in my life. I made amends with my Lord and Savior, and came to know Him personally, and so it changed my life. But this is years later. But the week or month that I did that, we got baptized. And I remember the pastor saying in the front of the church, "Someday you're going to be a missionary." And I'm sitting there, my arms are crossed, my legs are crossed, and look at me, I'm the liar. You know, anybody who's ever read the book, How to Dress for Success, also knows your body language. And you learn that was, Ron, you ain't never going to do that. Well, here I am now. I send people to Cuba, got them there back, send people to Guatemala and Africa. I'm doing all this stuff as missionary. I may not be there because I had a stroke, so I can't physically go, but now I'm part of that, successfully helping that mission, God's kingdom going forward. I'm an integral part of making that happen. And I do that now because of what I'm doing and who I'm doing it for. I'm not looking for a commission. I'm not making money on that trip. All I'm doing is providing the service. Because you know what? At the church, two things happened, Rick. A young man who was the youth pastor was supposed to be putting the Cuba trip together. He didn't know how to make an airline reservation, let alone a bunch of people going to Cuba. So that was the first thing we resolved. Second thing is that when I sat down with the pastor and we had leader of the mission team, said, now, how do we cover and insure and protect these people that travel? And he looked at me and he said, well, we pray, Ron. I said, you send a group of people from Buffalo, New York, into the wilderness, into a desperate, dangerous country where there's rebels and vitamin and pills. There's snakes and spiders and all this stuff. And you're going to send these people into a country where their services are so basic and not protect them with some kind of insurance? What if they get there and a storm comes up, a hurricane, tornado comes up, and they can't fly? Guess what? They're stuck. But if they have insurance. So now another advantage came out. I learned and I did. We found out an insurance company that would cover everybody on the trip. We insured the leader, and they listed everybody else as a rider on the insurance policy. 13 people. By the way, that policy was good for a year of travel. So those people were covered. Didn't matter where they traveled. They had travel and medical insurance wherever they went. See,
talk about the deal that you found out with the airlines and the group department, how they could get those tickets and not pay for them until later.
Oh, well, under the nonprofit group program, they have you book it. Let's say we wanted to go in February. It's what today is September. Let's say in July we want to go to Guatemala, and you want to book it. Call the airline up. Don't call them if you don't have your credit card ready, because you can't book it without your credit card or someone's credit card. So what they do for nonprofit groups, as a group, minimum 9 people, you can go to a group, book it now, and pay it about 60 days before you go. You can finish paying. You have to put a deposit down, about 10%, and then the balance you pay off like 60 days before you fly. So it gives you time to raise the money, and how many people do you want to have? Do you want more to come? See, it's a tool to help expand churches who are normally sitting around with a lot of money in their treasury. You know, sometimes they're not even paying their pastor, or they're not hardly paying their bills. How do they become an agent of reaching out and going out in the mission field? You know, Jesus said, go to the corners of the world, guys. Well, if they plan a church, they're meant to do that. That's their mission. That's their cause. Well, then you got to help them get there. Well, guess what? Delta Airlines, I don't mind to share it so everybody knows. Delta Airlines and their group department will work. Now, one thing I learned, we always try to get discounts, right? Everybody wants a discount. When you're flying with a program, if you're a nonprofit, and you're going to give them your tax-exempt number, don't ask for the discount, because they're doing incredible things for you. So if you fly in at a regular price, but they still give you all these other services, what they give you is everybody puts on their first bag. You know, today you charge about $30 a bag. but what they do is they give a second bag. They call it baggage waiver. And like when we had the peanut butter, we had 13 people. They divided up the peanut butter skids numbers between the people that were going on the cruise. On each one of those, that they get charged for it, but they don't pay for the baggage waiver to pay for that peanut butter being put on the plane. They never touched it. By the way, people were doing it. It was a program that was put together by Delta to help groups go forward. When we shipped the shoes, the leather rubber shoes, they were heavy boxes, and every day each passenger, each mission person was assigned a box. Now they carried it when we got there, the skid came up, the tractor, they pulled it up to the gate here, and they took them, but they didn't physically have to carry it on the plane. Again, the staff and the airlines, they all carried and took it in, but each person was assigned a case. Right. So the airline ate that cost of transportation. Huge. Wow. None of that stuff would have gotten to those people. And we're talking about making an impact. They're not just going and saying and sharing their heart and their spirit, which is, I believe, I'm not minimalizing the impact and the importance of that. But now we can enhance so much of what we do using this program. And so you gave me the nickname Mission Kid, but I wear that title proudly, and I look forward to doing more of it. A lot of it stopped all of it stopped during COVID, and now it's starting to pick up again, and people are going on tours. Well, guess what? People are starting to call again.
Well, that's one of the things that, in us looking at Surge and understanding, quote unquote, real world, the world of churches, the world of businesses, even home use, but understanding in schools and saying, okay, the Surge 365 product, the travel product, how do we apply them in a church situation? And we're able to look at that. We're able to sit down and talk to the leadership or the board or whomever makes whatever decision maker and say, hey, we've got this travel product that you really need to have, in your toolkit, if you are a church. Well, why is that? And what is part of the travel program? You've got the travel agency where the church can use if you've got conventions that you're doing, you can get those venues and talk to those hotels or the venues as a partner in the industry. If you need to block off rooms, now you're not just saying, I need so many rooms. You're still saying that, but, I'm also a travel advisor. You have access to the commission that you normally just give away. You have the travel agency. You may have some people in the congregation, and I always think about this, Ron. What is the responsibility of these churches to the people in the congregation who are losing jobs, are elderly, are aging out of foster care? That's something Country Boy and I was working on. Are offenders being reintroduced, and what is the responsibility of the church to help those folks with employment? So you may be a church, and you have this Surge 365 program, and you have the travel agency. As the church, you could be considered that travel agency that is training, grooming in-house travel agents, to come up and to book travel for the church, to do all these things for the church, and maybe at some point get their own business. But for now, let's say they're under the umbrella of the church. Well, you have access to travel training. And so you may say within the church, we do a lot of weddings, right? Say, okay, we need to set up a division in the church that does weddings and handles the weddings and the destinations and all the different things that go along with weddings, the honeymoons and all of that. Well, through the travel agency, you have access to all of it. Honeymoon wishes, right? For them to go on their little honeymoon. You have access. They want a destination wedding, or if you need to rent a venue or get a venue, that travel division or part of the church, they can take they can take the training, to be a wedding destination specialist. They have access to that. Certified. Once they complete that training, now you have a certification. And so many ways you can creatively think of. So let's say you want to open up a division because you guys do a lot of Holy Land type trips where, okay, now you're responsible for Holy Land type trips, not just for our church, but any church that wants to go. This is all under the umbrella of one church, where you're raising up because you have access to travel training. You may have in that area someone that they really love Disney, a Disney specialist, school of knowledge for Disney, and they could take that training. Most churches, if they've been around for a while, they have people that are seniors, and not just seniors anymore, but scoot around. You may special needs at sea where you have access to motor scooters and, oxygen and all those things that, that people need as they get older, perhaps, rental. And you can actually have on your church website that you are certified special needs at sea, accessibility, whether it's rental equipment or whatever it may be. So you've got so much creative, the sky is the limit. You're only limited by your imagination. But you've got people in the congregation that are looking for gainful employment. They're looking for a way that they can get a skill set without going in debt going back to college or spending 2 to 4 years going back to college. And now that church becomes a hub of raising up people that have a skill set as we override the return of travel when 9 billion people were locked down. So you have the travel agency. Also a part of the Surge 365 travel toolkit, you've got the Vortex. So that church may say, hey, you know what, we need to raise money. Let's give out this complimentary Vortex link to our members and let them put it out to the world. And so they get that Vortex link out. It's a booking link. Move aside Expedia. Move aside Priceline. Book through this link. It's your own personal, private booking link. There's no blackout dates, always savings. Cars, hotels, accommodations, cruises, big deal. Flights are competitively priced. They give this link out. People book. They're going to save. When they book, the Vortex goes out and it looks at the Expedia public price as an algorithm that comes in up to 60% less than that price. Average savings is $50 for accommodations. Okay. When they save, guess what comes back to the church? 100% of their savings rolls back to the church. If they save $1 comes back. If they save $100 comes back. It's a fundraiser you don't have to manage that overrides the return of travel as everybody is traveling now. And so
it's
the
called
Vortex stewardship. Talk about stewardship. Talk about
Rick,
how they don't pass the plate anymore.
Well, because of COVID, most churches, they eliminated ushers and handling the money and handling, so they want you to do it electronically. So everything is acceptable doing electronically. Well, on one hand, it's good. On the other hand, it's not so good because people don't have the pass plate in front of them. They may not put anything in it, where before they felt obligated. Well, the other thing is people are spending money to live their life. And they're traveling. I always kid, my pastor and I are always talking, I say, everybody tells you about where they've been, the trip that they just came off of, how they spent the summer, where they spent a week, inclusive in the Caribbean for a week when it was 20 degrees and 10 foot of snow in Buffalo. They tell you after they've done it. Now, the neat thing, this is real vital. I hope everybody's listening very closely to what I'm saying right now. The program is set up so that, what Rick said, they're going to save money. Guaranteed they're going to save money. So when the church has the Vortex card he's talking about, and they book their cruise, their hotel, their car rental, their activity they're going to do, they're going to go scuba diving in Hawaii and go on a snorkeling adventure. And they're going to do that, okay? Now I'll come back to that in a minute. But anyways, when they spend the money doing that, whatever they booked it through makes the profit. In this case, whatever they save, that money, the individual, the person who's in the congregation, whether a member or not, they spend the money. If they spend it with Vortex, that the church, we'll call it the church's travel company, the church will get the money. It's like they're able to support the thing they love and not give up what they're doing and make a donation it's intentional. It's a choice. And money goes, when you save, money goes to church. Now that to me is incredible. That's integrity, that's intentionality, and it's stewardship. And to know that funds that are being raised, and if you've got 50 people in your church, there's enough money to pay for your pastor's salary, more than likely, or all the bills that the church has, or your mission trip you want to do next time, just because of the money. And if you went to every person and asked, we're going on a trip, mission trip, will you give us some money? They'll put $10 in the plate. Somebody may give a little more than that or help us fund it if they got it during that time. Timing's right. But if you're able to have money coming in on a continual basis with no overhead to operate it, just a statement says this money was earned because so many people in the church used and they went traveling. Every time the church gets paid, a check just goes in. And it's documented. It's documented. So it's not going to create any undue on a CPA that runs the church's book or the gal that runs the books or an office for the church. It's only, they're going to get a statement. And that money came in. Where did this come from? Oh, my goodness, 17 people traveled this month. Oh, 3 went on a cruise, 3 went to an inclusive, 3 went to Europe, and now we've got $15,000. See?
So you're looking at fall break. You're looking at Halloween. You're looking at Thanksgiving, the holiday season. Then you roll around to January. You got New Year's. You've got spring break. You've got Super Bowl, all the sporting events. You got Easter, all the different events, St. Patty's Day. You got summer coming. And you're looking at all the different travel. Like you said, perpetual stream of money coming in. Online booking in 2023 was $521 billion. Online booking by 2030 is projected to hit $1 trillion. Ron, we're visionaries. We are like way ahead of our time. And so what this is all about is, since we're visionaries, people are just now, the light is coming on, like you said, stewardship. The money is flowing away from the church. Anymore, we need tools, and that's marketplace ministry. We need tools that will harness, and we're talking travel, but in business in general. We need tools that will harness and redirect wealth as well as services coming back to the church, overriding that we can bring back into the church. We've got to get smarter. It's not just the work dollar that we're looking at. That's why most churches are poor, because they're depending on the work dollar. The one little dollar, people working. No, let's override business. You have people in the congregation, they're going to Cancun. They're going home to visit family. The college kids, they're out of school. They're going back to school. They're going back and forth. And we're letting all this money flow away from us. Marketplace ministry within a church says now, let's look at the businesses within our church, and let's see, let's rank them ease to transfer wealth and services. If I got to work hard. Now, most of us have worked at traditional fundraising. Ron, I know you guys have worked at traditional fundraising. How much time,
spaghetti dinners,
effort, spaghetti dinners, chicken dinners. Now, don't get me wrong, the food's good, but a lot of work. All the people that's preparing the chicken dinners and all the people that are standing out with signs and for the hot car wash and the kids on the corner. Expedia, think about it. How much work do you think Expedia is doing in 2019 to make $98 billion? And, of course, there's even more today. How much work do you think they're doing today if you're looking at the online market hitting $521 billion? They're giving out a link. We have to get smarter in our communities. We have to get smarter and not work so harder, but get smarter. And see, Ron, that's why when we look at the vortex, people think it's too good to be true, but that's no reason not to make a decision. I have folks that are Christians that are,
Rick, you went
Christ into your heart.
You went silent for a minute. I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said I've got people that have said salvation is just too good to be true, and I say, is that enough reason to not accept Christ into your heart? Because salvation is too good to be true. And so same thing. The vortex. You will not find. Let me give you a heads up. The vortex anywhere in the world. You will not hear it come from anyone's mouth other than the people who are in Surge 365, Ron and I on this call right here. You won't hear it. Why? Because it's a proprietary product of Surge 365. Now, you'll hear Expedia. You'll hear Priceline. Maybe you didn't know that Expedia and Priceline own all the other booking engines globally. But you won't hear Vortex. You won't hear that you can save up to 60% for real when you book that hotel. And you certainly won't hear 100% of what is saved comes back, listen to this, to the owner of the vortex. We're not saying the owner, Expedia, we're saying the owner of the vortex and access to the same travel vendors. That just blows me away when I hear that, even from my own mouth. And so
what's vortex, so fun, Rick? People are booking stuff. People are booking stuff in their pajamas. Saturday night, they got to get it done. They want to get it done before they go to church because they're going to share it with their friends. They want to get it booked on Saturday night. So Sunday morning they go, hey, by the way, we're going on a cruise next spring. We're going to do this. And they could be in their pajamas to do it. There used to be you had to get dressed up and go to the mall. Ladies had to wear lipstick, get all dressed up and go down there. Now, like I say, you don't even have to, you can be in your pajamas and you can book your trip. Vision and dream and know that you're going to do something great for your family. This is
amazing,
incredible.
It's amazing. And so now you got the travel agency and the access to the training, talking about a church, how they're using the product, Surge 365. The travel agency, we talked about the vortex for revenue generation, hands-free. And then the third, under the umbrella Surge 365 is what we call the membership and lifestyle benefits program. And so the church has people on staff that are traveling, and they're paying top dollar for them traveling. We're saying, no. You could add up to 4 people to the membership. And so for the people who are traveling, put their name in to the membership and allow them to book their travel through the membership, wholesale instead of retail. When they come back from their trip, take their name out, cycle somebody else's name in, and just keep that going. Cycle 4 names in, 4 names out. Pastor needs to travel, 4 names in, 4 names out, and just keep that going, but giving access to the wholesale rates, to the staff who's traveling, saving the church a ton of money, as opposed to just book it and give us a receipt and pay top dollar. That just makes sense to me. There's online shopping. And so all those church supplies, buy them through your online shopping, Home Depot or Now you're earning reward credits. And I didn't mention, for every purchase through the vortex, not only are you getting a check 100% of what's saved, but for every dollar spent, you're getting 2 to 3 reward credits that roll back to you through the membership. Everything spent, reward credits. So corporate level money's coming back, corporate level reward credits coming back. the reward credits are kind of like credit card points, where you can buy anything. They're non-taxable. They're extended out. They're good for 7 years when you shop online, 10 years when you book online. Who's going to be in the church 7 years, 10 years? Who knows? But anyhow, they're long term. And so now you've got these reward credits rolling back from the membership. And you may say the church membership. Remember we talked about the travel agency, we talked about the Vortex, now the membership. You can get gift cards, and you can purchase those gift cards with the reward credits. And so you may have a community outreach for Thanksgiving. And you may say, we've got 500,000 reward credits. Let's use these reward credits to purchase $100 gift cards, Walmart gift cards, or food gift cards, or whatever kind of gift cards. You got access to all of them. But let's say Walmart, $100 Walmart gift cards. And let's go out door to door in the community and just say, hey, we're just thinking about you. Here's a $100 gift card for you. Oh, no, take it. It's no strings attached at all. And give out $100 gift cards, because that's the money that's coming in from people traveling, overriding the travel industry. Ron, this just makes sense.
It's powerful without question, and I'm excited because that's just, we're discussing a handful of let's call them perks or benefits or how to improve your life. More importantly, how many people in your sphere of influence would be looking? It's funny. We ran into a couple, and I'll tell you how. People go, well, how do you do this thing? How does it happen? Well, we have great friends who live in Canada. Now, they live about an hour and a half. We live right next to the border in Peace Bridge in Buffalo, so an hour and a half away, but they are Canadians. And they came to Buffalo. We have an amusement company called Darien Lake. It's like Six Flags over Georgia. And every summer for 25 years, we have had the International Christian Music Conference and show, and they have concerts for like a whole week. And the who's who in American Christian music is there, groups. Well, Robert and Angel came down and they booked a hotel because they don't have hotels at this place. You got to stay somewhere else. So they did that, and they were staying for the week. During the week, they went out to the store or a restaurant, and they met this couple. Now, this couple happened to be a pastor and his wife. Just happened to be. And they met, and they headed off, and they had kind of nice conversations. Well, it turns out then Robert and Angela, they went to church with us that same Sunday they were here, and they started telling me about this couple. And so they did. We didn't meet them yet, but we promised we would connect with them, which we did. Now, weirdest thing, Rick, we live in the city, so we got blocks, okay? And the street behind us is one way, so you can only get on it from one side of the entrance off the roads. And their house is 73 Zittle. We live at 73 Norman. We can look out between the houses in our backyard and see their house behind us.
Wow.
7 years we've been that close to them. Now, his church. He has a church here in the community church down the street. We have a main highway here, street, and then his church is right down the street there. It's right next to the grocery store we shop at. So he lives down across the street from me, and he lives there where his church is down there. And when we did call him and say, hey, Robert and Angela from Canada, they said, oh, yeah, they talked about you too. They said good things. I don't know what he lied. He told us we're good guys. But anyways, him and his wife, they're incredible. So we found out he's looking to find a way. They've been selling he bought deep fryers to make fish fries on Friday night. Big thing in Buffalo, fish fries. He sells fish fries to the neighborhood, and that's what he lives off of, and that's what he supports the church by. He's a minister. Wow. He doesn't need to be cooking food. That's not his mission is to help build the church and the community. Wow. But now he says to me when we met, we need to create a home-based income. This is factual. Wow. I'm not making this up. I didn't chase after him. I didn't go looking for him. But the people, how does this happen? God makes these things happen, and it can happen to every single person on this call. And I would encourage people that are listening in to realize you are one per two people away from helping somebody else have everything they ever wanted to have happen in their life, or you can help save somebody and they don't know how to pay the rent this month, and you can help them do it. So I think what we do is in today's world is in such demand. We have such a way in the tools, and it fits everybody. Everybody's circumstances are different. We've seen people who don't even have a car make money. That's a fact. That's not something that could happen. I've done it. Oh, see, you can do the same thing for other people. We can be, people are waiting for the government to solve your problem. You're going to wait and starve a long time.
Yeah, it doesn't trickle down like that. And so, church.
Hey, Ron,
go right ahead.
I'm sorry. It's a country boy.
Go right ahead, country boy.
Well, I was just thinking about what you said, Rick, when the whole time when we was talking about recycling money and bringing the money that the church was going to be spending anyway back into the church versus giving it to the enemy. And, always this time of year, I would always reflect on what we had to do. My son was a candy selling champion for 3 years in a row, and a reward for him, they gave him a $25 gift certificate to go to McDonald's to buy some of that food that was real healthy for you. Mm-hmm. But now, when I think about it, no more candies, no more cookies, no more wrapping paper, no more getting up on early Saturday morning, Ron, up in Buffalo going to have a car wash, because they usually say about 3% of the people that show up do all the washing. And then I'm kind of giggling behind my breath, but I still reflect on when we had to do that to raise money for our organizations. When the kids bought the candy and the wrapping paper and the cookies and all that stuff home to the neighborhood, who they going to sell it to? Every kid in the neighborhood goes to the same school, and at one point they wouldn't let you bring that stuff to work, Ron, and solicit your coworkers selling somebody else's product inside of their walls. So people have been looking. But as you said earlier, Rick, travel is something that you don't have to force somebody to do because they're doing it anyway. Now, just because the world is oblivious and they never heard of Surge 65, that's the way God is working this stuff now. Because I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a Mason, if y'all know what those are. You can't get into his organization unless somebody in the organization invites you. So I had a friend of mine says, well, look, country, I went to the parent company. I went to Surge 365 website, but there's no way to sign myself up on there. No. The only way that you can get this opportunity is somebody tells you about the opportunity. And we have this little saying in the country, it was just too good to keep it to myself. So why would you not share the vortex with somebody with all the holidays, Rick, that you just listed and threw out there? Because if they're not going to spend the money, who don't want a discount? But the last one I wanted to say, the surge is a spiritual thing. The more vortexes one gives away, the more money comes back your way. Is it not biblical? Give, 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 and it shall come back unto you. That's the infinite wisdom that I mentor, Lord Toomer, now Scott Toomer, had years ago, to know that we had something that had value to it. And if we give it away, then the money comes back to the person that gave it to it. That's genius. That's a God thing. Back to you, Ron.
Without a vision, people perish. Ron, when you saw, the travel business, you had a vision. And of course, Linda, drop the zeros and go with the hero to London. Not necessarily like that, but you saw the vision. Without a vision, people perish. The beauty of Surge 365 is that, if a person has a vision, they can see this tool and they can see how to apply it. because where we talked about recycling money. If a person is coming in and they see through the green eyes of, whether it's recycling or everything green, and they look at the vortex and saying, hey, why throw that money away like it's worthless, booking through Expedia, knowing that there's a commission being paid? Why can't I use the tool, vortex, harness, and redirect this wealth that I'm throwing away carelessly because I didn't know, and now you have knowledge, to now harness and redirect these billions of dollars and now go into our communities and to go into our churches and our ministries, to go into our homes and create personal wealth, generational wealth. That's the wisdom, but a person has to start with a vision there. If I'm a school, these kids are going on spring break. We got fall break and all these different kind of breaks. Why not give out this vortex link for these student families? Book through this link. But you have to have a vision. If you are home use, me, I use a membership for all my different things, lifestyle benefits program. I use the vortex, bring money in. I use the full service travel agency to take all the travel training. And when I need to talk to a vendor, like a partner in the industry, I use the vacation, the 7-day vacation stay like Ron and Linda are about to do down to Oklahoma Beach. That's included with the program. I use my tax write-off because it's a home-based business. And I've got income and residual income, weekly, monthly, and residual income. Listen to this, and I'll turn it over to you, Ron. That took me through 2008 when the economy went like this. Took me through COVID. Economy went like this. It took me. If you don't do something to create residual income, you actually work till you die. Back to you, Ron.
Well, we're running a little bit short on time today, and Rick, I think we've covered an incredible amount of wonderful information. And if anybody who's listening in, I want you to know something today. We have a huge list of people that are listening in to our show today, and we want to welcome you. We want you to know that we honor you, and we hope that you walk away from this moment, that you take away something that you can either apply for yourself, or maybe somebody, and that's really more important. Our theme is helping others by helping them help others. That's what our goal is. The Golden Rule of Society, of course, is do unto others before they do to you. You want to be treated well, and that's what we do. And so what we're doing is paying it forward. That was real popular for a few years. Pay it forward. Well, that's what we do, guys. If you like that, you like the idea of serving, and you like the idea of paying it forward, give us a holler, because maybe we can help you take advantage of the tool for your family or someone's family We don't have to be selfish with ideas and things we learn. We can share it. In fact, that's what God wants us to do. And so, guys, I just want to hope that you have a wonderful and blessed day. We have shows every day this week that will help improve your life. Noon Eastern time, and you can call in the same call-in number. We're going to be here if you're listening in on one of our platforms. That our wonderful board member, Mary Stanley, who, by the way, has just been published internationally. She is now known particularly in the area of autism for children, neurodiversity, and she is what she would be considered and called an expert in handling and dealing with children and helping the parents and the programs. She has programs. She has a business that supports, and we support her. And so, guys, you can have access to that. If you have children that are autism or family members and they never travel, you want to get a hold of Mary, because her and her husband can help you how to travel, because they have programs set up with venues. Claire, there are whole cruise lines that specialize for onboard treatment for bringing children on the cruises. And they can, I'm telling you, the benefits that you can do. Mary knows that. And she was just recognized out of Europe. She's been published and now going worldwide, and we're so excited and proud of her. So, guys, you can come join us in whatever way in the world. Maybe somebody can use some of the things we've talked about today. Maybe they just want to make some money. Maybe they want to have a retirement. Maybe they've always wanted to travel, but their job didn't let them. Or maybe they're wondering whether they got a job. All those things that can be true that you can help resolve. Be a resolver. Be a problem solver. That's what America was built on. And that's what makes us great today and even tomorrow. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you all coming in today. Have a great week. Rick, thank you.
Thanks. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
God bless everybody. Thanks, Country Boys.